This regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone here today and ask you to please silence your phones if you haven't already. I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
So moved. I'll second it.
There's a motion made and seconded that we approve the minutes of the previous meeting as presented. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Departments, we've got Michael here today with a computer request.
I got some bids for computers. I may be coming back later in the year to get more, but this is the first set. Had bid for 13 computers. The low bid came in from Dell. Originally the bid was $673 a piece, but the price came in lower when the prices came in for the new ones came out. So the new original price came down to $569 a piece for 13 computers, totaling $73.97. I do have this in my budget, so that's not a problem. One of those will be coming out of Casa's budget, so because they got a technology grant, so she's going to be paying for one of those for her machine. Next closest was a Lenovo machine at $624.78, and then the next closest was $695. So each. So
These desktops.
yeah, the towers.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And this is just part of our yearly replacement plan.
Yeah. I might be getting more to fill out a couple more toward the end of the year if I have extra funds left, but we'll see how my budget is left toward the end of the year. But I was going to get these earlier in the year, but with the way things were going, I held off just in case I needed to get laptops or other materials or servers or anything else.
Meet our needs.
Yeah.
Under the circumstances. Yeah.
I just didn't know how things were going to go with COVID and software or other craziness, so I just held off.
These are just to replace our rotation thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
our rotation. Right.
Yeah, I've got these slated for surveyor's office, prosecutor, and some of the machines over at the jail. Mainly jail admin.
So,
And that won't replace all those machines. It'll replace the machines in the surveyor's office and the machines in the prosecutor's office and a couple of the machines over in admin. But that still leaves a bunch of machines that have yet to be replaced.
these Dells won't, they'll work fine with all our software that we're using.
Yeah.
I'll move to go ahead with the replacement of the computer costs for our rotation. I'll second.
There's a motion made and seconded that we approve the purchase of these 13 computers, which is part of our yearly rotation of replacements. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
And these are the same machines we bought some of these last year for.
I couldn't remember what we.
Yeah, we got some of these last year for the utilities. I mean, we didn't pay for them, utilities paid for them, but they got some last year, and we also got these for probation and a couple other departments last year. So.
Anything else, Michael?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, you have something for us today?
I should have a 144 for our new hiring.
What's the
Her
name?
name is Alicia Wedding.
What's the last name?
Wedding.
Wedding.
Whitty?
Wedding.
Whitten?
Yeah.
Alicia Wedding. I'll move to approve the 144 for Alicia Wedding. I'll second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the 144 as requested. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
thank you. That's all I got right now.
Is she ready to start, or?
Yeah, she's, as soon as I get the approval tonight, I'll call her up and let her know.
All right.
And
good.
she'll come up on Wednesday.
Don't be so hard on her, she'll last a little longer.
I'm not commenting on nothing like that.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Mike, do you have anything for council? Any other? Jay, do you have anything for us today?
I would let you know, we went over to Flat Rock, looked at the equipment over there, looking for something for striping. And he's got one, but I didn't intend to talk to him about the price on it. But we looked up the same piece of equipment online, and brand new, it costs $12,000. So what he's gonna want for this one, I don't have any idea, but I'll find out and let you know.
That's where we got the low board, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's, yeah, okay. When you said Flat Rock earlier, it didn't,
It's old Shelbyville, yeah,
it
right?
didn't click with me.
But we looked at a tracker he's got over there too. It's a 2003. He's wanting to go to one with a smaller arm on, not as long, deep an arm on it. It's a 314 cat. I mean, it ain't perfect condition, but it's pretty good condition. And it works good. We tried it out and worked it over there and everything else just to see how it handled and all that. But like I said, I had to get with him, see what that stuff, what he's wanting for it.
But this striping equipment, is it self-contained, or?
Yeah, it's pull behind the truck.
You pull it behind the
Yeah,
truck?
he had one, an old state truck that had everything on it. And that was a little more than what we wanted, because it looked like a monster out there compared to everything else.
We don't need another engine and transmission to take care of it.
But we'll check around and see what he says and see what else we can find.
I got a question here on that striping. Have you figured out what it'd cost to do a road, per mile or
No, I can go to Wayne County and ask him, because I went up and talked to him once before about it.
I had another complaint from out by Alpine about them wanting stripes on the road.
Yeah.
I guess they had a couple of people fly off the road and stuff like that. Sounds like we need speed limit signs too.
Now, the question I'd have is,
Someone to enforce it, though.
we're gonna stripe the road, do we need to put a center stripe on it too, or just the outside ones?
I think just the outside, that's all they're complaining
Just the
about.
outside.
And what I,
Just to keep them on the road.
Outside.
That'd help the price a lot.
Mark, they're hard to see at night. We've had a number of wrecks on those boats because they're black and there's no lighting.
yeah, they can't tell the difference
It's
at
hard
night,
to tell
I
the
guess.
difference. I've got, LEDs on the front of my truck, and if you didn't have that, it'd be very hard.
And then I had
I'll let you know what I find out.
Okay.
a complaint about Wellsview, they got speed bumps out there because of the road sinking there where the water company put the water lines in.
Yeah.
Can you get that kind of patched up or something?
Out of Wellsview?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can get it taken care of. Right now, we're just trying to get back to our chip sealing.
Is that our new road? Did they make
No,
cuts on our
I
new
don't
road?
think it, is that new road out there?
No, not in Wellsview, no. That
Water
200 is the one out there, come out to Wellsview Road.
Yeah.
They put
Yeah.
new water.
You're talking out by the housing development out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them roads back in there, they're having problems with some of their lines sinking and stuff like that, is what it is. We'll get it.
Okay, thank you.
Jay,
Dale?
just for your information, in this, we've got this change order
Yeah.
for the community crossings today, and I don't know, there's a line in here for paint, road striping, the solid yellow 4-inch line, that'd be right down the middle of the road.
Yeah.
That they value at $2,175.20. But I don't
Per
know.
mile, or?
It doesn't say per mile, it just says
For the road.
$21.75. Now, is that for Springersville Road only, or is that for the entire project?
That's for the entire project. What he called me and asked me, he says, we've got striping in there. And I said, they're talking about striping roads, you better leave it in there if they've got a bid in the project. Because he called me and asked me about it. And I said, well, I think you'd leave it in there if it's bid in the project. I wouldn't take it out. Right?
Well, really,
I mean, you can tell him, you can have him not do the center and just do the sides.
And that-
But he's got down for railroad crossings and stuff like that too.
Yeah, railroad
They have to do
crossings
that.
too.
You have to have that one.
There's two railroad crossings at $750 each. But I know they gotta lay down
Stencil.
The 10th.
stencils and everything to
Yeah.
do them. But if this year's project, if $2,175 takes care of this year's project on community crossings, striping is not all that expensive. I mean,
Yeah, but by
It's
the
just
time
a-
you do the whole county, it is.
It's just every
Well-
third year repaint it.
And you gotta remember, you gotta buy the equipment to do it.
yeah.
Cause they got a crew that comes in and does this, that
And
does it.
people.
Well, that's all I have for comparison.
Yeah.
But, okay, I just thought,
I seen it in there.
yeah, okay. I don't have anything else to gripe at you about today.
You probably hate coming seniors, don't you?
Don't bother me at all.
Okay. Jeff, do you have anything for us today?
I do not today.
We'll move on down to mail. I've got a couple of things here. I've got a thank you. Dear Fayette County Commissioners, thank you for finding money in the budget to pay for our 4-H membership fees. We really appreciate your support and your willingness to prioritize the youth of Fayette County. And that thank you letter was from Christina and Victoria Caldwell, who are 4-H members. And then I got a couple of, I guess it's the same thing, but the monthly report from the clerk of the circuit court. I'll pass these down. They're the same for both the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Finance, which is the Commissioners. Mark, you glanced at it. I don't know if you want to look at it again or not, but I commend Lisa. I think I'm soon to finish 12 years of being a commissioner, and I've never seen one.
I never have either. Is this gonna be a new,
I don't know. It was in my mailbox today when I got here.
well, that's a good deal.
So, pass that on. Any other mail, Jane, that needs to be? Move on to old business. I would have, well, I guess you've got it under new business, don't you? The change order. Any old business for the commissioners?
I don't.
Okay. I have here, Dale, you, a couple of weeks ago spoke of the capital improvement plan, and I put one together for everyone to look at, and you can make changes as you wish, but I figured we needed to get it off at 0 centered, and so it's there to look at. It basically follows the budget requests. And then if there's no other, if you want to discuss it, that's fine. If you just want to take it and digest it, that's fine too.
This is my first glance.
It would be, because it was just done this morning, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll take it under advisement. Take a look at it here after a while.
We'll move on to new business. We have a change order proposal for community crossings? I have yet to see one, so, see ya. So,
This is, Jane laid this down here. Is this the only copy we got?
Yeah, I just printed one.
do we have some explanations of it, or?
Yeah, yes, on page 2 at the top, it explains what the changes are. It's a change to the depth of the asphalt and then adding Springersville into the district line.
Thickness. So is this what we want on that last mile, or should we hold off and wait and do it as complete as the other? Or should we use our own dollars and let our own paper do it?
Well, I'd like to hear what our highway superintendent says about that. If he's got an opinion on it, I told him I was hoping we didn't have to ask him to go out there and do that.
Well, I was too, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to shortchange it.
I don't know if I'm right or not on what,
Get it all done.
she talked to me on the phone right after lunch, because she wasn't gonna be here. She said she thought that this was gonna come out of the excess money and the match money,
Yes.
so it shouldn't cause a problem.
Our match was $333,000.
That was for 1 1/4 though, wasn't it?
For
Wasn't that for 1 1/4 million, 330, the match?
1 million. 1 million.
1 million to match with that, but it come in under $1 million, so that dropped the match down.
Yeah.
That's what she was thinking, that's what they were doing here. They was trying to make it come out of that.
They're gonna increase
They're increasing it by 1/4 of an inch on the deck.
on everything else,
Yeah,
on all the other projects, where we wanted it in the first place.
yeah.
I think it was 1.25 inches we wanted. But that last mile's only gonna get 1 inch for this price.
You sure? I bet it's 1 1/4 inches too.
Now, it says the planned lift thickness is 3/4 of an inch of HMA intermediate and 1 inch of HMA surface. From Springer.
Yeah, I see that there on the end.
Yeah.
That's how they got it down to 84.
Right.
Because I thought it would start about 93 or something like that.
So that's the only thing that concerns me. We've talked in the past that
Yeah.
we want as much asphalt out there as we can possibly get for our money.
You know, last year, we heard a lot more from Michael Mang than we have this year for
Yeah.
some reason or another. And
I'm a little disappointed that we
Well,
haven't.
I don't know what's going on there, but those,
I know we're a little bit up against the wall. They're wanting to start by mid-September. I do know that. So
mid-September, they're starting. Well, they have to be,
completed
they
by
have to be complete by October 8th.
8th, isn't it, or
Yeah.
something like that. So I mean, I don't know where you want to go. What's that last mile like, Jay?
It's in pretty good shape, actually. We put cans all the way down through there and checked everything, but the road itself's not in bad shape.
I mean, you reckon this inch will be?
Yeah, I think an inch, that's what they
Surface.
figured on doing on the others to start with.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it'll be all right.
We reduced it down to 1 inch just
Yeah.
so we thought we'd have to come in budget.
Well, with this change order, will we have to come up with additional?
This puts it at $1,081,000. Their bid.
We had 900.
$1,081,000.
And I think we only had 80-some thousand of our match money left over.
Yeah, that's why they got,
Well, it's probably the 84
yeah.
is what we had left over. Is that right?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how it's calculated.
Well, I haven't had a chance to talk to Joe Lisa about it. And I don't know what kind of communication she's having with Butler Fairman.
I really thought there'd be somebody here today, but I was a little bit surprised when I didn't see it on the,
$90,412.94.
was left over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, 90,000 of our match was left over.
Yes.
So part of that match went towards the additional
Yeah,
thickness.
Leaving the, how much match went to the additional thickness? I don't get that.
well, if you had 90,000 left over, the 84 of that 90 went to the additional thickness. That's what they're saying here.
Till the mid.
Am I right, Jane?
6,000.
I guess.
I can't explain it either, Jay.
These items can be deleted as the project have been driven. Patching required, also the roads are going.
Does anybody know when they really need this change order done?
Jolisa acted like she wanted it passed today. I think she thought waiting until the September meeting was pushing it. Because that's why she wanted to have Jay go ahead and present it, even though her
Well,
and Bill
then-
would both be absent.
Can we do this, guys? Can we have another meeting next week?
Absolutely. We can have another meeting tomorrow. I don't care.
And ask Butler Fairman to be here?
Ask somebody to explain this better than it is right now. 'Cause I really can't say that I totally understand every detail in this.
I'm not convinced that that extra mile was added in, is part of this.
Well, we need to know that before we
Yeah.
sign that.
Yeah. I'm thinking that the 84,000 gets the extra thickness.
Well, I was thinking it was to get the extra mile, so.
I think we better find out for sure.
Yeah. Could we take this under advisement
Well-
and then,
What I think they've done, they've figured the extra thickness in your original to come with your 900 and some thousand.
Yeah.
And then they,
996?
the 90,000 they have left, what they took the extra mile out of. That 84 is the extra mile, because according to the amount of tonnage they got here on the extra mile,
Well, where is that tonnage?
tonnage is right here. If you go down to that last section, 450 to 550. You look at your HMA immediate type B, that's 412 ton. That's what they're gonna wedge the road with first.
Mm-hmm.
And then your surface is 615 ton. And that's about right for a mile. What we've been putting down, we've been putting down a little thicker than that, but that's about right for a mile.
Project 6, Project 5. Projects 1 through 5, they've increased it from 1 inch to 1 1/4 inch.
Yeah. Then project 6 is the one that's,
These items can be deleted as projects have been. Project 6 is being added to the project, extending paving. Okay, Project 6. Yeah, I believe you're right, Dale. I think Project 6 is 84,998.
yeah.
It is, I would say it's easier to
That's the
understand
bottom
if you
one.
have the colored version.
Oh, the colored
I
version?
printed in black and white, yeah.
All right. I think you're right, Dale. I think but it's still,
They paid for the, how they're paying for the thickness change is
they
they've
they took,
eliminated.
they
things.
took those things off, didn't
Patching,
they?
joint adhesive, and joint sealant are being deleted,
And that added the extra 1/4 inch thickness.
and the funds being,
Extra 1/4 inch thickness on the.
Projects
on the-
1 through 5,
Okay, on all of them.
Yeah,
except for project 6,
it's gonna be 1 inch.
and it'll only be 1 inch for 84,000. And we can pay for that 84,000 out of our,
That,
Match.
is that what's left of our match money?
Yeah.
yes, I understand that
Okay,
now.
so if we want to add a 1/4 inch, we'd have to throw in some more money.
Yeah, you'd have to get with them, figure out how much it costs to add another 1/4 inch to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I understand it now. You were right, that 84,000 is just that mile. Actually, right at 85,000.
I was thinking, in an email from Joe Lisa a few days ago, I remember the figure 97,500. Did you see that, Jay? It's not in this change order, but it was in an earlier email.
And that striping is $2,175 for that mile.
Actually, it's more than that. You gotta figure all 3 of them together for your.
Well, I'm just talking about the striping, not the,
Because you got your,
but it's lineal feet, 10,876 lineal feet at 20 cents a foot.
yep,
20 cents a foot.
It's 20 cents a foot.
there's the striping for the 5 other projects.
There's,
Wow. Some pretty expensive paint.
I thought you said it was cheap.
Well, it looked cheap on that page.
Yeah.
I remember what Wayne County told me, he said, you're not doing it, get out of it if you can. Because it gets expensive real quick.
But where are we striping?
20 cents a foot, I can see why.
Yep.
Projects 1 through 5, where are we striping? Because I don't see any striping costs on here.
The only place I see striping mentioned is
In that last mile.
in the last. Well,
I
yeah.
think they just didn't reword it, because this, on the original contract is where I just pulled those numbers. It's got each section, so like here, 4724.
See, I thought
and
we
then
took
there
the
was project
striping
two.
out.
1680. No, that's the paperwork we sent to DOT.
Is it? Well, then we need to make sure that this
Striping,
is.
it's a.
Well, once you.
But they talked about it the other day.
Everybody in the county's
at
gonna want it.
Yeah,
the Pre-construction
well,
meeting, the striping.
Yeah, we
didn't
talked
they?
about it, yeah. But he called me back,
And I thought we were doing away with it.
well, he called me Friday, I think it was, and asked me about it.
No,
Okay, so what do you want, what's your pleasure? Do you still want to try to get Butler down here and have another meeting or to better explain this, or?
Joe Lisa maybe will explain it to us, to our satisfaction, don't know. We could either,
I mean, we're paying.
I'd like
Butler
to know
Fairman,
for
but-
sure instead of,
yeah, I'd
Thank
like to know for sure too.
We're paying for engineering.
I'd like to get to the bottom of it. I'll come back for another special meeting any day, any time.
Jane, would you try to set that up with Mike?
yes.
quit grieving. We can't help if we don't know nothing.
It can get confusing real quick, I'll tell you.
It does.
All right,
Well, it helps me to hear those guys from Butler Fireman sit down and explain it. And since they're not here today.
You got questions, maybe you don't get answers.
Yeah.
all right. Is there a motion to table?
I'll move to table this.
I'll second it.
There's a motion made and seconded that we table this to a future meeting with Butler. Is there any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
We might be able to straighten this out over the phone. Is it- Who knows? We'll find out.
Maybe yet this afternoon, I don't know, but if you want to try to call after the meeting. Any other new business?
Under new business, yeah, I got a call this morning from Mike Coons inquiring if the county had any surplus equipment or material that we wanted to dispose of. They're scheduling an auction for September the 19th.
Auction.
And if we have any surplus materials that we want to send to auction, if we could provide them with a list by the end of this month, it would be advertised in the newspaper and such. So,
Could I be so bold to ask Jay to make a list of all of our unused inventory?
yeah.
You also have Dave, he's got some stuff up here at the Dover place to get rid of.
And we probably ought to ask all of our department heads if they have anything we need to get rid of.
That's not junk. If it's junk, then it's junk.
Well, if it's junk and we can sell it, that's fine.
Well, people will buy junk.
Some people want junk.
Yeah.
But I think we've got some inventory down there, don't we, Jay? That
Well, we put the old sign truck back in use. Put that new can cleaner in it, and let them use it, go down and clean cans with.
Yeah, well, we'll, if we have anything that we need to get rid of, we can get rid of it. If we don't, we
Jane,
don't.
could you send out a letter to everyone? Advise them we'll need that inventory before the end of the
He
month.
said the end of the month, yeah.
Okay, anything else? New business? Do you have something for us today?
Yeah, I do.
I
I
don't
tried
know.
to get a UTV permit from the sheriff. My name is Richard Manley. And he's telling us that he doesn't want to issue those permits. But we got an ordinance, county ordinance, where we can get this permit from the sheriff. And I don't know why he doesn't. He's saying that we can get one from the state. But I come to these meetings for a year to get this ordinance passed. And since he took sheriff, he doesn't want to give us a permit for these ATVs. It's a county ordinance. I don't know why he's not letting us have them. And and everybody's giving me a different story on it, but I've got a copy of the ordinance.
A couple of years ago, I looked at it. Is there an expiration date?
No.
Yeah. It's an easy explanation. County ordinance doesn't mean anything. It was a way to get money for the county. The problem with the county sticker, it doesn't hold any weight. The state sticker supersedes everything. So if you have a state sticker, you don't need a county sticker. So what the sheriff is trying to do is trying to save you money. Because I bought one in my first year as well. And then I found out that it doesn't do anything. If the DNR pulls you over and you only have the county sticker on, you'll get a ticket because you have to have the state sticker. So the county sticker becomes irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything. So the ordinance really should be done away with because it doesn't serve any purpose.
Okay. Jeff, I think you're researching it, aren't you, for
Right.
the city?
Right, and I've reviewed our ordinance, but I guess when I'm reviewing state code, there's ATVs defined, there's off-road vehicle defined. There is no definition of a UTV, okay? But and I'm not to the point where I'm going to 100% tell you this, but I'm pretty confident you have to register with the state through the BMV your UTV.
You do.
There's not just some miraculous county certificate that allows you to drive throughout the county. It is my opinion that when I'm reviewing that statute that you do have to get your UTV registered with the state.
Okay.
Have you tried to go to the B&B and register it?
No.
If you
No,
did that,
because-
that may remedy all of your concerns, because it looks like to me, the only thing a county or a city might be able to do is restrict traffic, not permit it, okay?
Well, we took this, when we originally done this, we took it off of Franklin County's UTV ordinance.
But isn't that does it speak of UTVs or ATVs?
Well,
It says
the ATVs and the UTVs are considered as a group,
It says, it mentions ATVs and it mentions off-road vehicles.
off-road vehicle.
Which are both defined in Indiana code, which that says it
Dave-
uses.
Dave Bedore had this up back when he was on council.
Right.
Commission. And the reason for it was a way to create another income. But out of the 300 permits that they had purchased for the county, like only 30 were ever issued. So it didn't generate really any revenue. It was only $20 or something.
25, I think.
$25, so they don't do anything. And when I had my ATV repainted, the sticker peeled off and tore apart, and I had got a duplicate one, and talked to Billy Wason at the time, and he said it really doesn't do any good because the state ordinance overrides.
Supersedes the
The
county.
county doesn't mean anything, it just, so people stop buying them because they don't mean anything, you're wasting your money, you're throwing your money away.
That backs up what I said.
UTV and
in
ATV are the same
2018
thing.
email. Billy said the state stickers all
Now,
that.
I think we could potentially restrict if we want to. It doesn't sound like anybody wants to do that, but we could potentially do that, but we can't legalize it or permit it. I don't think you need that. I think you get it registered with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, you follow their guidelines. Because our guidelines actually say that you can't drive between dusk and dawn, right? But I think you need to go to the B&B, and if we may need to repeal this ordinance because technically you could be violating our ordinance, which there's fees for not having that, but it sounds like our sheriff is not going to
Sheriff's
ticket
not gonna
anybody.
enforce it. He
So
said-
nobody's gonna ticket anybody on that. Maybe you should go to B&B and see if you can get it registered.
My argument was with the sheriff saying he's not gonna enforce it. What if they don't like you? And they decide to, I got a ticket. That's what I'm talking about right
You
now.
have a ticket right now?
I've got a ticket right now,
Pending?
pending.
For not
Because
having
I don't have this county permit.
because you don't have the county sticker?
I don't have, it's not registered.
Well, it's
It
not
doesn't
registered with the
say.
state, or it's
It
not registered with
doesn't,
the
it
county?
doesn't say the state, it doesn't say the county, it says a non-registered UTV.
That's the state.
Yeah, that's a
That's the
state
state.
code. I bet it cites this, I think, if you look at your ticket, your citation closer,
It doesn't-
it'll cite an Indiana code section.
Oh, well, no.
It'll say I period, C period, and
Yeah.
likely 9 dash,
Yeah.
okay? That's a state code, we can't do anything about that. So
That ordinance won't protect you from that
Right.
code, is what
I
he's saying.
understand that.
now, if you've got a violation from somebody local that said that you're driving, you're registered under the BMV, but you don't have our permit, then I would say you'd have one great legal argument, okay? But that's not what you have. You have a failure to register it under a BMV. And quite frankly, the more I looked into this, unless it's an agricultural or a construction vehicle, it reads pretty clear to me that you have to register all ATVs, okay? And I know most people don't do that, and that never even thought of that, but ATVs and off-road vehicles, unless they're used for agricultural purposes or for construction purposes, have to be registered with the state of Indiana.
When you buy a new ATV or side-by-side UTV now, that's automatically included in it. Every year,
See?
registration fee is included in it.
Really?
Yep. And then, the only thing the county thing doesn't allow you to ride on city streets. It only allows you to ride on county roads and no state roads. You can cross the state road, because we've also looked into this for the Everton Fire Department for ATV rides and stuff. Some of our rides are conducted on county roads, no state roads, you can cross them, but that's it. But the county sticker is really, it's just, we're wasting money. If your ticket is, I guarantee is from the state, like Jeff said, that's the only one that the county or the DNR would give you.
I understand that, but if you don't want to register them, you don't have to register them.
If you wanna ride it in your yard, you're fine.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But once you
But
ride
you
it in the
can't-
county road, that's the problem.
But you can't even leave your personal property.
Right.
Without it being
Or,
registered.
or somebody else's property.
It's on private property. we can
No, if
find-
it's on private property, you don't have to have it registered.
Yeah.
See, and I was on private property. That's, I mean, that's immaterial for this situation, but, you know,
But if, Jeff, if our ordinance is still in effect, then we probably need to repeal it
Yeah,
officially.
sure.
That'd be my recommendation, to remove it.
And there's a group of UTV essentially riders here in the community. I don't know if you're a part of that or not, but
No.
there's a group that came before the city, and that was kind of their discussion, is they initially wanted the city to make an ordinance, and then they realized if the county doesn't have an ordinance restricting them, then they don't want the city to make an ordinance, because then they can just follow Indiana code, which
Yeah, okay.
is what, I haven't spoke to the sheriff about this, but I'm pretty sure that's what the fire chief, or the police chief would like to have happen. It's just Indiana code dictates and not have a specific ordinance. 'Cause-
A local ordinance.
Right,
That,
right. Now, the only reason I would encourage you, if you wanted to do one, is yours right now says, if it's dark time, you can't drive one.
right.
I don't think that's what the Indiana code says. Okay, I think Indiana code is if you have.
Which we could, I mean, we can restrict,
I
the
think you
use.
can, I think we
we
could
just
arguably
can't
restrict
permit
it.
the
Correct.
use.
Correct. We couldn't do something that the Indiana, the code says is you cannot do in the state of Indiana. Okay?
I would say if they don't have like tail lights, headlights,
Right.
and obviously they should drive it before or after
Right.
dark, but most of them have
Yeah.
now light bars on them.
If they didn't, they'd be violating Indiana code anyway. If they were on a
Right.
roadway without lights
Right.
at nighttime, they would
That-
violate that.
that would violate.
So there's really,
I don't think it says anything on at night. This is the original one.
the hours does, it does.
Okay. I haven't
If you're
read
looking
it,
at the same ordinance that I've reviewed, it does. It actually does speak.
but
to it.
it should be the same one because,
Well, I knew, Jeff, you had been working on
Yeah.
it with the city.
I think your problem lies with, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't got to the point where I can tell you where you go get it registered. It's either gonna be the BMV or it's gonna be DNR. My assumption would be I would go to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles first.
okay.
You go online.
Okay.
Jeff, there's one
So-
thing I'm not clear on all this. Which came first, Fayette County's ordinance or the state statutes?
State statutes, because our ordinance actually doesn't define ATV or off-road vehicles. It, in the ordinance states too that we follow the Indiana code in regards to
Definition.
the definition of those two, because it gets complicated. You can have some people discuss the fact that an ATV and a UTV are two completely separate entities, right? So you get, and I'm not, it's not 100% clear to me where UTV right now fits into that. Is it in the off-road vehicles category, or is it an ATV, or does it even matter?
And UTV is just a utility vehicle, ATV is an all-terrain vehicle, it has VS is a side, or a side by side, they're all the same thing.
Right.
It's all in the same category.
Which are distinct from golf carts, though. Golf carts are distinct because some people have been, that's another thing. There's some municipalities that have permitted golf courts inside of their city limits.
Sure.
So you're saying on this ordinance that they're gonna create for the city, they're just gonna let if you got a state permit, that's what they wanna see done, is just use the state permit and drive them on the city streets.
Mr. Winna hit on a huge, not a huge, but the only reason really, if we're not wanting to restrict anything, which it sounds like no one really is, the only benefit to having a local ordinance, both at the city or county level, is to be able to collect a fee. Okay, that would just be in addition to any registration you have to have at the state
Okay.
level. That's the only, that's literally the only thing there.
But now, we could create an ordinance without fees restricting traffic.
Sure.
Travel.
Right, sure.
If we wanted to continue to restrict
If
them
you had
to
any-
daylight
If
hours
you had any
only,
request to restrict anything,
or something like that, without a permit fee,
Yeah.
we could just create an ordinance to restrict.
sure.
I got information if you want, where you can register, if you want to read it real quick.
No, that's all right, I'm
Just
just,
do the DMV. Just go, just type in Indiana ATV registration.
yeah.
And they'll tell you where to
Well,
go.
I've checked into it, I know what you're talking about, but I just didn't wanna get a state permit when I could get a county permit.
Right. Which the county permit
That's right. The county
Why?
permit is an addition to, not in lieu of.
Why did we spend a year to get this and they processed it with the attorneys 4 years ago and then it's not any good?
It wasn't researched
What?
properly.
I can't speak to that. I wasn't a part of that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, if I remember, I remember hearing some of the discussion, but back at that point in time, wasn't the DNR over it at that time? Or?
What it boils down to is it was improperly researched and proposed by Zane. It never should have got out before, it should have been researched more. And I'm not gonna lay blame anybody's feet, but when I found out about that, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna spend $25 or whatever it was for the county, that I paid for a state sticker too, that, you know, only the state was recognized and the county's not recognized. So you can tell the county, you can tell the DNR all day long, hey, I can write in Fayette County, but I can't write in Franklin County. They're like, we don't care. You're still getting a ticket because you have to have it registered with the state. Bottom line.
Yeah, because I'm getting the Franklin County permits too. Because we go to Franklin County.
Now you may have I don't want to make you feel like technically you do have to, by our ordinance right now, technically you have to register with the state and have our sticker, the same as you would in Franklin County if they have such a statute. I don't want you to think that you go get registered in the state and then you're driving in Franklin County and you don't need it because I told you it's not
Right,
being enforced.
But
Our county is not. Franklin County will in fact enforce it likely, so you absolutely need to have their sticker.
But what I'm saying is, if I go get the permit from the state and I don't have the county permit, if they want to enforce it, then they could give me a ticket for not having
The
it.
county absolutely can. And in
See,
fact, it should
that
be a
ain't
part
right.
of, it should be a part of, if you go to Franklin County to get that, they should have to make you show proof of insurance and proof
They
that
do,
you've, proof
yeah.
that you've actually registered with the
Right,
state.
right.
So that should be a part of that process. But yes, you could
Well-
technically be
What
driving.
you're saying is, though, as long as that ordinance is on the Fayette County books, if someone wanted to enforce it, they could.
We have to have both permits.
And
So-
he's
That's
being
what
told
you're,
he can't get
that's
it.
what you're telling me right now.
And we need to address that.
Yes, because it's problematic if he's wanting to go get it and they're telling him they can't give it to him.
I would just get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
certainly-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you always
We
say
need to
no.
address it, because it was my understanding that the ordinance expired. It had an expiration date on it.
It has no expiration
It
date.
did.
I got a copy of it if you want to see it.
After I reread it, it was the stickers.
The permit had an well, that's, okay.
Because we did our ATV right for Everton, we had people come from the state, and they're asking that same question, do we have to have it registered? No, you don't. Yes, we have an ordinance on the book.
Do we want to ask Jeff to,
But if they don't like you, they can enforce it, and that's what they done to me.
No, you're not,
Maybe
listen,
we
that's
should,
different.
we should.
You're not,
Well, I mean, I understand what you're telling me.
they're going to enforce Indiana code. That's
I
not, so what I'm trying to
understand.
tell you is you're not, they didn't pick on you, they didn't treat you, you legally, in the state of Indiana, have to have that vehicle registered. Any county you drive in, no matter whether they have an ordinance
If
or
you're
not.
driving on the road.
Correct.
Oh, it's not-
Well, no, if you're driving not on private property.
It was right on the state.
And I
If
think
you're not
there's-
on private property, you have to have that.
Sure.
What you're telling me.
Well, and there's some arguments too, you have to have a vehicle registered if it's parked somewhere where it's visible from a roadway. So you need to do some research on that. You can't have a truck parked on your driveway that's not registered in Indiana. Okay, it has to be registered if it's visible from a roadway, whether or not it's on a
Okay.
roadway or not.
Okay.
So-
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Jeff, can you look over the ordinance, bring us recommendations on
Be happy to.
appealing?
I can tell you right now,
Repealing
my recommendation is gonna be that we repeal the ordinance. If
Could
we're not
you
gonna,
create
if we don't want,
language?
if we don't desire to have the $25 and there's no restrictions that we really desire, then I think we just repeal the ordinance and let state code dictate.
So out of just common courtesy, our current sheriff is not enforcing the county ordinance because it would, one, cost you extra money, but there's no guarantee what the next sheriff would do.
Exactly right.
So in order to protect you, Dick, from double jeopardy, say, in a matter like this, the best thing we could do to help you or anyone else in your situation would be to simply repeal the county's ordinance, get rid of it, and the state legislation that stands now would remain, and nothing would change. Nothing would change for you at all.
Right. I understand that. Yeah.
Unless there are restrictions that we would like to, that we feel needed to
Sure,
put
if
on.
you-
Then,
Sure.
do you have to have a public hearing for repealing that?
No.
You feel comfortable enough acting today? Acting on it today? Or do you want?
No, I would like to see it on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. It's different between having public.
So you can look it up.
Right.
Well, yeah. I think too, it's important for us to take the extra time, Gary, to explain to the general public what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Otherwise, we might make them all confused.
Yeah, there seems like there is enough confusion in this matter the way it is. Been a little bit confused about it myself after talking.
Well, I
to
mean,
Dick.
you know, here we are, we worked on this for a year and we thought it was, I mean, I come in here every meeting for a year
Yeah.
and now we find out that it's not legal.
Well, I know at the time it sounded like the be-all to end-all.
Right.
And now, 4 years later, it's not.
I think that's the wrong term. It's legal.
Yeah, okay,
We can do an ordinance,
right.
but basically the only thing we're gaining is putting money in the county's coffers.
Right. I understand that. Yeah.
We're double taxing you,
Yeah, right.
more or less.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
And if we don't need to do it, then let's.
Why do it?
Why do it?
Yeah, why do it? Yeah, and I understand that and I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, because from my understanding of what Jeff's saying, if at the time, the majority of the people didn't want those ATVs out after dark, we
Right.
can put those restrictions in an ordinance without a fee.
Right. Sure.
We can still create the ordinance to limit traffic without having a permit fee.
Sure, and I understand that, you know.
So I guess that would be what I would want out of part of the conversation on
So,
this issue. Do we want to extend those restrictions, but just not charge a fee?
or just do the state and be done with it and not
Or just follow the state?
just follow the state and be done with it.
One of the two. You know,
It'd
because
be-
like Jeff said, the state, he doesn't believe that the state has any restrictions as far as
Yeah.
time of day.
At the time that we done that, we were told that this ordinance, the state couldn't make us get a permit if we had this ordinance. That's what we were
No,
told.
that's not incorrect. That's not correct.
Uh,
Because the other thing I'm guessing is you probably, if you don't have it registered, you probably don't have insurance on it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, you have to have it. You have to
Yeah,
have insurance on it.
that
You-
was one of the stipulations in this. You had to have
In the
full
local
coverage
ordinance
insurance.
as well.
You had to have insurance.
You might as well pretend that it's a car. That's about the easiest way I can tell you to treat it. And then you go to the B&B and register it just like you would any
Well,
other
that's
vehicle.
what I'll do now.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna buy the county permit if you're gonna go through the process of doing that. And he won't issue it anyway.
He
so,
won't issue it anyway, so, and this will protect everyone that doesn't have that permit,
Yeah.
because they'd probably all expired. The original,
Yeah, mine has.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't renew it, because he wouldn't do it,
yeah.
so.
If you went out and got a state registration on it, and then you somehow got a county ticket for not having a county, you'd probably have, with recordings here, you'd probably have one of the best cases I've seen come through the courthouse, right? Be pretty easy to find
I've
a
got
county.
one. Well, anyway.
So, let's, ask Jane to put this on our agenda next meeting. Can we be ready for some discussion?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not coming back.
Okay.
If you do that,
We know your
because
opinion.
I went through the year to do this, and I'm not.
You're not gonna go through
Well,
another
I
year to
have
get
my
rid of
business
it?
up and come, to come and do this, and I'm not gonna do it for,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kinda useless
Well,
for me to do what I'm
To
doing.
me, it sounds like it's fairly simple
Yeah,
to get done, but
yeah. But just
Hey.
then,
You don't know until you do it yourself.
do away with this or whatever, and
yeah.
just go with just the state.
Well, Jake, really, you've done a lot of people a favor by bringing this discussion to the forefront because I wasn't even thinking about it until I got a call from you recently.
Well, I was always told if you had a county permit, you was all right. You didn't need it.
Yeah. As it
And I
turns
thought
out-
I was doing everything legal.
Yeah, it turns out that's not the case. So you've brought some information out front that really needed to be, but I know I certainly wasn't thinking about it. Luckily you were.
Well, if I hadn't got the ticket, I probably wouldn't have. But,
You wouldn't be thinking about it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Funny thing about those tickets.
Yeah, that's learning the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only got 4 in the last year, so I mean, they kind of got my number.
Okay.
So,
All right,
thank you.
thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. See you, Jay.
Anything else to come before us? I would then entertain a motion to approve claims and payroll
I'll
as
move to
presented.
approve the claims and payroll.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve claims and payroll as presented. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. And I'll pass things down to sign.
Dale, I'm sorry, for the minutes, what was that gentleman's name?
Richard Manley.
Manley? Thank you.
I was gonna say, I got the first name, but I didn't catch the last.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that if we wanted to.
No, not me, that's for sure.
To keep that.
Is that everything?
Yeah.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded for adjournment. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
3 ayes. Meeting adjourned.